Hi, I'm Bill Bonfanti, box office analyst for FilmGo.net.
And I'm Wall Street trader Frank Nocerino, and welcome to Box Office Bang Up.
We are here at the Memorial Day weekend edition of Box Office Bang Up. We've got two new movies opening this weekend over the 4-day frame. 4-day because Monday counts as a holiday. Although it is actually a 5-day frame for Sex and the City 2, one of the big releases this weekend because it's opening on Thursday, much to my dismay as a box office analyst because it makes my job really, really hard. But when you're great, it makes
absolutely,
it really
yes.
The only other movie coming out is Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, based on the hit video game from Disney. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, we got holdovers with Shrek Forever After. Iron Man 2 should still play pretty well this weekend. And Robin Hood should play pretty well as well. So let's get right to it. What do you think of, well, obviously we both think the #1 movie this weekend is going to be Sex and the City 2. Of course, the first movie came out 2 years ago at this time and was a big surprise hit. Opened to $56.8 million, went on to make like $150 total. Did really well. It surprised me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
So this time we're not going to be surprised. We know it's going to be a big hit. So #1 movie this weekend.
This movie is not as good as the first one, but I think it's going to make more money than the first one.
I agree with you. I think it's the basic sequel rule.
Absolutely.
If the first movie is loved, then the second one's going to make more money.
Especially with this target audience.
Especially with this target. This is really shaping up to be the first franchise that's truly built around the women audience. You can say that Twilight is as well, but Twilight does bring in some men. And Sex and the City is clearly all women, and the men that go see that are women as well. So, so anyway,
okay.
Or they're being dragged there.
Well, we're saying for this movie for the 4-day, I'm probably saying $60 million, and over the 5-day, going about $80 million.
So Thursday, you think Thursday it's going to have a big debut?
Of course, yeah. They're gonna. Last night I think it opened at 12 o'clock, and there was people there already. I read.
Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, I agree with those numbers totally. I think it's going to make about $58 million over the 4-day Friday to Monday. I think it's going to be front loaded on Thursday, bringing about $20 million. So we're looking at about $78 million, I think, total for the 5-day period.
That's about right.
It really, it's anybody's guess. It could be a little bit higher than that too if the audience is a little more front loaded this time around.
And ticket price a little bit higher too.
Ticket prices are a little bit higher. It is in more theaters
than it was last time.
But ultimately, I think that it'll probably be about $78 million for the 5 days.
Yeah,
it could go as high as 85.
Yeah, I'm going about 80. I don't think 85. I'm going about 80.
But again, this is a review-proof movie. We've spoken about these in the past. It does not matter what critics say about this movie.
But this is a bad review, though.
Coming out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. But
that may affect it moving forward.
Right, maybe.
But more than likely, the fan base is not going to wait till hear what Roger Ebert has to say about Sex and the City.
I agree. They're going to see it, right? Exactly.
So
very good.
I'm definitely not seeing it. Obviously,
No, I'm not.
You're going tomorrow, right? You got your tickets ready?
Gotta tell everybody.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, let's talk about Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Prince of Persia is pretty interesting in the sense that it's brought to you from the same team that brought you Pirates of the Caribbean.
Going for that audience.
Jerry Bruckheimer. It is based. It is coming from Disney once again. It is based on a property like Pirates of the Caribbean that was kind of difficult to translate to the screen. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean was a ride.
Right. But translate to 3 movies.
I don't think that, and the 4th one is on the way. So I don't think that anyone
with real
expected
actresses in that 4th one.
Real actresses. Oh, real actresses?
No, with real. Anyway. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay, we'll get to that in 2000.
So it's Prince of Persia now.
Prince of Persia. So again, it is from the same team, and I'm sure they're hoping for the same effect. The original Pirates of the Caribbean opened to about $45 million. Of course, that film was really well received by critics and by fans. Johnny Depp didn't have any box office success at that point, though, so you can't factor that into the opening.
Sort of like Gyllenhaal now.
Sort of like Gyllenhaal now. Yeah, they're about the same, except I would have to say that Depp is probably a little more respected as an actor.
At that time, though?
Yeah, at that time, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, he definitely has his fans based on just his acting. Yeah,
oh, yeah, fantastic.
And Gyllenhaal is respected, clearly. I mean, he was nominated for an Oscar for Brokeback Mountain, and he actually had a really great performance in last year's Brothers with Tobey Maguire.
Right, he did. He was very good in that. That's a good movie,
very good in that film.
That's a good film.
In fact, I really wasn't a fan of him until I saw that movie.
I can see that.
I'm a huge fan now. But
Are you
I do
see
agree.
Prince of Persia?
I am actually. I'm taking my son to see it tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's only because, one, I want to review it for the site, and two, he wants to see it. Otherwise, I really
That's a good sign that he wants to see it.
I don't really have interest myself.
It's a good sign that he wants to see it, though.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It works. But I don't think it's going to... I think it's going to basically open the way Pirates of the Caribbean did. I think $45 million, except it's going to be over 4 days versus the 3-day take for Pirates of the Caribbean. And I think moving forward, it's going to have a difficult time at the box office. It might crawl its way to about $120 million, but
yeah, I was thinking
it's
about
not going to have long legs.
Actually. I was thinking it has a little bit better legs than you, Bill. I think about 150 for a total 4-week pop.
And what do you think for the weekend? You think about
About
40 million?
Yeah, about 45 million like that.
All right,
Well,
so
Shrek 2. I think Shrek 2's
range.
legs are there. I mean, 2.
Yeah, I agree
Shrek
with you.
4.
Before we even get to Shrek, though, just going back to what you said about Jake Gyllenhaal, I think it is a major misstep casting him in this film. He doesn't have the right look for this type of role. I don't think, anyway. He comes off kind of baby-faced and a little too cutesy for this kind of movie, but you know, I should really reserve judgment until I actually see it.
Because
but I just don't think it's going to pull audiences in. I don't think it's very convincing. It's not Johnny Depp as a pirate. Johnny Depp as a pirate was like,
he's not Gerard
I gotta see that.
He's not Gerard Butler.
And 300.
And
yeah,
300.
Right, totally. So
Gerard
all right,
Butler
so yeah, I do agree with you. Shrek Forever After is going to still have a good weekend. Last weekend was really kind of disappointing.
It was.
It opened to 70.8 million, which is way lower than the last installment, which was 121 million for Shrek the Third.
That is a little bit.
But I do think that Shrek 4 is going to have better legs this weekend than Shrek the Third.
So not as much as a drop-off in ticket sales.
For those that don't know, every Shrek film opened the weekend before Memorial Day. The first film actually was flat going into Memorial Day because it had great word of mouth. The second film dropped only about 25%. The third film, not really as well received as the other two. Yeah, no. That one dropped 56% going into Memorial Day weekend. So I think that Shrek 4 is actually better than Shrek 3. I actually thought it was better than Shrek 2, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's going to have quite the same impact as Shrek 2 as far as drop-off. So I would say Shrek 4 drops... Alright, on a 3-day weekend, it drops 40%. When you make it a 4-day, it's 30% drop-off. Okay. So it takes about 50 million this weekend and will be in second place for the weekend.
That's a good call. I like that.
That's my guess.
I'm happy with Shrek 2. It's a good movie.
So what do you think, though, in terms of, you think it's going to be second place, third place?
I believe that Prince of Persia and Shrek are right there, number 2 spot, right? 45, it's right around.
Right around. It's going to be a tight race.
I'm not going to say unfortunately, but Sex and the City 2 will be the number 1 movie this weekend.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. If anything, I think we may be low.
Yeah, there might be.
But
they got some probably fans, right? They go out to see.
Yeah, you know, and most sequel properties. I mean, listen, a lot of sequel properties, especially the second film in a franchise, they're going to jump a good amount. They could jump 25 to 35, even 70% from the last film's opening weekend. The thing that makes Sex and the City 2 really difficult to navigate is the fact that it opens on a Thursday into a 4-day weekend. So it's a 5-day launch. So it's kind of hard to tell when those box office dollars are actually going to be spent. Whether it's Thursday or Saturday is going to be the bigger day. I would imagine Thursday and Friday would be the biggest days for that film.
Well, it should be a great weekend for the movies anyway. There's 5 good movies out there.
There's some good stuff.
There's a lot of stuff to see.
Iron Man 2, again, that launched this summer to 130 million, 135 million. It was a little bit of a disappointment as far as people expected that film to easily soar to the $400 million mark.
Now it's going to be tough.
Right now it's about 260. I only see it maybe make it about 17 million this weekend.
I see it coming around.
The film will probably just surpass the original's total. The original made about 320. This one will probably go on to about 330, 340. Yeah. So a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, obviously, still a very, very big hit.
And huge overseas, so I mean, it's amazing.
Enough to warrant an Iron Man 3 for sure. And I guess the only other film really that's still viable in the marketplace for the top 5 this weekend would be Robin Hood.
Robin Hood for sure.
Again, that movie, the legs it's not really doing great. It opened to 37 million. Next weekend, it dropped about 48%.
Which is expected.
Which is fair. It is fair, but. Again, it didn't really light the box office on fire domestically. Overseas, it's doing great. But again, I think this weekend it could pull in about another 12.5 million to round out the top 5. Good.
Sounds good.
The film should be on track to make $95 million in total here domestic.
That's nice.
So that's basically it. We both think Sex and the City is going to make $58-60 million over 4 days and close to $80 million over the 5-day span.
And which will warrant us the Sex and the City 3.
Sex and the City, which I'm psyched
Which
about.
let's hope that one is the fall off and I say goodbye and that's the end of that Sex and the City franchise. Just for the women, they need something else better anyway.
Yeah,
I think they get better themselves.
They need something else. Punky Bruce, the next generation.
That works. That helps.
Yeah, so
I can see that actually.
Please. I hope I didn't just start an idea and some executives.
You might have.
Punky Brewster, the movie. Oh, that's a great idea. We're making that. Anyway.
I think she's available.
I'm sure she is. Salil Moon Fry.
There you go. I was waiting for it.
Salil Moon Fry. All right, so anyway, wrapping it up, we both think Sex and the City is going to be number 1. We think that Shrek 2 is probably going to be number 2.
I can say close for Persia.
He's thinking more of a tie situation.
Yeah, why not?
Prince of Persia, I think 45 million for the 4 days. He's thinking about 40. So we're all right on track there. Remember, you can come back to filmgo.net at any time to see my predictions for every movie this summer. Just go to the weekly popcorn chart. I have predicted every movie this summer. And join us next week. We'll be back talking about Go to the Greek, Killers, Splice, and Marmaduke. Thank you.